Let us rise up tonight with a greater readiness. Let us stand with a greater determination. And let us move on in these powerful days, these days of challenge to make America what it ought to be. See, we have a chance to make America a better nation. And I would like to thank God once again for allowing me to be here with you all. You see, several years ago, I was in New York City, autographing the first book I had ever written. And while sitting there autographing these books, a demented black woman came up. The only question I heard from her was, "Are you Martin Luther King?" And I was looking down writing, and I said, "Yes." And the next minute, I felt something beating on my chest. Before I knew it, this demented woman had stabbed me. I was rushed to Harlem Hospital. It was a dark Saturday afternoon. And the blade had went through, and the x-ray revealed that the blade was on the end of my aorta, the main artery. And once that's punctured, you're drowned in your own blood. And that's the end of me.
It came out in the New York Times the next morning that if I had merely sneezed, I would have died. Well, about 4 days later, they allowed me, after the operation, after my chest had been opened and the blade had been taken out, they allowed me to read some of the mail that came in. And from all over the states and the world, kind letters came in.
I read a few, one of which I will never forget. I've received a letter from the President and the Vice President. I've forgotten what those letters said. I received a letter and a visit from the Governor of New York. I've forgotten what his letter said. But there was one letter from a little girl that I will never ever forget. A little girl from the White Plains High School. A letter said, simply,
"Dear Dr. King, I am a 9th grade student at the White Plains High School." She said, "Wow, it should not matter. I would like to mention that I am a white girl. I read in the paper of your misfortune and of your suffering, and I read that if you had sneezed, you would die. And I'm simply writing to say that I am so happy that you didn't sneeze."
Big word. And tonight I want to say, I'm glad I didn't sneeze. Because if I had sneezed during the 1960s, I would have never seen the students all over the South sitting in encounters in restaurants. See, as they were sitting down, truthfully, they were standing up for the American dream.
Come on.
Taking the nation all the way around and seeing the democracy that our great founding fathers had made for us in the Declaration of the Independence and the Constitution.
Ooh.
If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been around here in 1961 when we decided to take a ride for freedom and end segregation and interstate travel.
If I had sneezed, I would have never made it to 1962, where American slaves. If I had sneezed, I would have never made it to 1962. If a man rides your back, you can't ride your back after that.
If I would have sneezed, I would have never been here in 1963, when the black people of Birmingham, Alabama, aroused the conscience of this nation and brought into being the Bill of Rights, the Civil Rights Act.
If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have had a chance later that year in August to tell America about the dream I had had.
If I had sneezed, I wouldn't have been in Memphis to see a community rally around boys and girls who are suffering.
I'm so glad that he did not sneeze.